Hello everyone, welcome to the 7th session of Figma tutorial. We are going to discuss the topic of components together in this session. In fact, components help us avoid repeating the design of elements and increase the speed of projects. In general, we have two types of components: master or parent component and child component. The parent component is the main one, and the child components are created by parents, and any edit done on the parent component will also be done on them. So, how can we create the components? Here I have a button that contains a rectangle and a text. I want to put this button inside a component. There are several methods for this. The first method is that you first select the entire button and click on Create Component icon from this part. The second method is to right-click and select the Create Component option. And the third method is to use Ctrl, Alt, and K shortcuts. Okay, I will click on this icon from here so that this button is placed inside a component. As you can see, a purple box appears here as component 1, and if you pay attention to the layers panel, the layer corresponding to the component appears here as well. There is a point that the master or parent components are defined by the icon you see here, an icon that contains 4 small diamonds. How can we create child components? For this, it is enough to copy the parent component. I will zoom out on this area, and by holding Alt and clicking and dragging, I will make a copy of this one. As you can see, a new layer is created in the Layers panel called Component 2, and the icon of this component is a hollow diamond. Pay attention that the child components are defined with this icon, that is a hollow diamond, while the parent components are defined with this other icon, that is 4 small diamonds put together. Okay, any changes I make to the parent component will be applied to the child component as well. For example, by holding the Control key, I click on this rectangle so that it is selected directly, and I consider one color from the fill section. As you can see, the color of the child component also changes. Or for example, I edit this text. For example, I add a number to this text. As you can see, the changes are also applied to the child component. In fact, with the help of components, we can avoid repeating the design of elements, and wherever it is necessary to apply changes or edits, just by editing the master components, the child components will also be edited. But we need to know some points regarding the child component. For example, if I edit a part of the child component, like I change the color of this rectangle to another color, then I go to the parent component. If I want to edit the color of this rectangle, there is no change in the child component. In order for the changes of the child component to follow the parent component again, it is enough to click on the child component and click on the Reset All Changes icon from this area, or right-click and click on the Reset All Changes option and return all the settings to the initial state. Or you can return the settings to the default state from this section by selecting the Reset All Changes option. Okay, another point is that if you have several child components, for example, here we have 3 children. If you want to remove one of these components from the child state or from the component in general, you must right-click on the desired element and select the Detach Instance option. Or you can remove the component from this section by clicking on the Detach Instance option and change it to a normal layer. As you can see, we no longer have components in the Layers panel. And if you look closely at this icon, it is in the form of a frame. Okay, I will remove these components as well. Another point is that you might accidentally delete the parent component when designing projects and do not have access to the parent component anymore. To find the parent component again, just click on the child component, then right-click and select the main component option and select the Restore Main Component option to find the parent component. Okay, the last point in this session is that if you change the elements inside a master component, for example, reduce the size of this shape, as you can see, the whole shape becomes smaller and we see the changes on the child component, but the frame that is related to the component is still on the previous form. In order to make this frame the same size as the elements inside it, it is enough to click on the Resize to Fit icon from the Design panel. As you can observe here, our frame becomes the size of the elements inside it.